Hi, my name is Joe Schmitz. I'm the CEO and founder of Peak Retirement Planning, and we're going to share with you today an interview that we just had for the new book that we have come out called I Hate Taxes. And I don't know about you, but if you're anything like me, then you know we hate taxes and we want to pay the least amount possible. And so this book is all about how do you own your retirement by taking more control of tax planning strategies that you can implement today to live a more fruitful retirement, to make sure more money is in your pocket. If you would actually like to read this book, then go ahead and apply to get a free copy in the link below. And if you do that, we'll send you a copy and make sure that you can read this and get as much insight from it as possible. So now on to the interview. We all come from different backgrounds, have different cultures, different skin color, different languages we speak, but there's one thing that we all have in common. And that one thing that we all have in common is that we all hate taxes. And I particularly hate taxes. I hate taxes so much that we actually wrote a book, and the title of it is I Hate Taxes. And the reason why is because I just don't necessarily agree with all of what my tax money is used for. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll pay my fair share of taxes. I love the libraries that I get to go to. I love the roads that I drive on. But I want to make something clear. I don't want to have to pay more than my fair share. I don't want to have to tip Uncle Sam. And so that's why we make it our mission for our clients that we work with to help them reduce their tax burden over their lifetime so they can keep more of that hard-earned money in their pockets versus Uncle Sam getting more of it himself. When it comes to taxes, it's just really not talked about enough, which is why I felt the importance of writing a book on this and doing so many workshops around the community on this topic alone, and really building a firm that really does a good job of focusing in on helping clients focus on tax planning and retirement. And when you look around, no one's talking about this. You're not going to find them talking about tax planning strategies on the radio or on the TV. You're not even going to typically find your CPA telling you about tax saving strategies, because CPAs are pretty reactive. They're really only trying to file your taxes before April 15th. They're not really trying to find any ways to save you money long term. They may find you a couple deductions here or there, but they're reactive. They look backwards. They don't look forward. They don't ask you what your goals are. They don't ask you how many assets you have. So they're not going to know the particular planning strategies to assist you there. And then we also just see that most financial planners, they don't even want to touch this space. They tell you they're not a tax professional, they can't give tax advice, and they won't even help you with the tax planning side of things. And to me, that's just a bit ridiculous in my mind. And the reason why is because even making a simple recommendation of doing an IRA or a Roth IRA, that's technically tax advice. So, we need to make sure that we're giving people the right guidance to make the right decisions. When I tell people about taxes, I'm not telling anyone to avoid taxes. I'm telling them legal ways of finding the loopholes within the tax code. Because when you look at the tax code, there's more words in that than the Bible. So there's going to be opportunities there if you just understand how to read and understand that tax code. And when it comes to these tax saving strategies, you can save thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime just by understanding how the tax code works. Something about me is I just absolutely love saving money, and I'm very frugal. I also love blueberries. So when I go to the store and blueberries are on sale, what do you think I do? I, of course, stock up. My entire freezer is full of blueberries when they're on sale. And so I think of that with the same thing when we look at taxes right now. Taxes are on sale right now. They're among the lowest that they've been, and most people expect them to go up with our current debt crisis and the current amount that our government is spending. And so for me, I want to take advantage of this tax sale for myself, but also our clients. And so that's the big purpose of this book, is making sure that we are acting on this current sale because of how much money that you can save over your lifetime. I mean, we're talking about thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars that you can save by just understanding what the tax code reads and means. Most people would suggest that the biggest expense in your retirement is going to be taxes. So we need to make sure we're very intentional about taking the right steps and reducing your tax burden over your lifetime. Taxes are written in pencil, and they're so complex and they change every day, and that's why we have to continually stay on top of it, and that's why I typically suggest people to make sure you're working with a professional who understands how the tax code works, because it's really hard to do it on your own. I typically tell people tax planning is not a do-it-yourself project. There's a lot of decisions to make, and you really got to make sure you're following it every single day as the changes are made. Most people that we see that come to our workshops and come in to see us have the majority of their money in tax-deferred investments. And when we see that, we see opportunity. And when you have that much money in tax-deferred investments, at one point in the future, you are going to have to pay taxes on that money. Up front, you got a tax deduction, a savings today, but ongoing, as that grows, so does your tax burden, and you're going to have to pay a lot of money in retirement at whatever tax rate you are. And the question I ultimately have for you is, what is your tax rate going to be in retirement? And we simply just don't know, right? Because nobody knows what tax rates are going to be. But if most people expect they're going to be higher, then would you rather pay them now or would you rather pay them later? So if you really hate taxes, you want to make sure you're understanding that concept. One myth that we like to educate people on is that saying you've probably heard before of, you'll be in a lower tax situation in retirement. Do you think that's true? For the majority of our clients, that is not true. It is true for some people, but for the most people, especially if you have larger investment accounts that are tax deferred, you're going to find yourself in a higher tax bracket. And the reason why is because you're going to have Social Security, potentially a pension, you're going to have required minimum distributions that are required to come out of your tax deferred investments every year. And we have clients that have RMDs that are $50,000, $100,000 a year, which causes a big headache in their tax planning as they reach retirement and on, because that number continues to grow. And when you add in Social Security tax to the equation too, most people are going to be paying the same or higher taxes in retirement. The reason most people expect taxes to rise in the future is simply common sense when you look at our current debt crisis. Our country is over $30 trillion in debt, and that's just the funded debt. It's not counting the nearly $100 trillion in unfunded debt. And so we have to ask ourselves, what impact is that debt going to have on us ongoing, especially if the government continues to spend and keeps increasing that debt crisis? Ultimately, I ask is, where are we going to get the revenues to cover this debt? And I've seen studies show that if we really want to cover that debt crisis, tax rates are going to have to double within the next 10 years. So we've got to keep our eye on that as we do our planning now for what's going to happen in the future. Now, if you have one of these tax-deferred investments that we're talking about, and if you're putting your trust in Uncle Sam with these tax-deferred dollars, then you have to understand that that money is not all yours. If you have $1 million in your 401k, you have $1 million minus taxes. So how much of that is really going to be yours when you take it out in retirement? Well, we don't know, because we don't know what tax rates are going to be. But if you expect tax rates to be higher, then why are we just going to sit there and let it cook and marinate and grow so that we have to pay a higher tax rate in the future? The IRS is a partner on this investment with you, and he hasn't worked very hard. He has not put in the sweat equity that you have. He has not worked for the past 40 years like you have. So we want to make sure as much of this money is in your pocket versus Uncle Sam. I would never go into a business partnership with someone that tells me, hey, I'm going to take whatever percentage I want in the future. You're not going to know what it's going to be, but I'm going to make the rules, and then you're going to have to give me my fair share at some point. That's a tax-deferred investment. This book is for the people who are going to take action and who want to be in a better situation. My dad's the hardest worker I've known. I've worked with him since I was 5 years old. And one thing he's always told me is that if you want something, you have to go get it. And so it's the same thing when it comes to this tax conversation. If you want to utilize the tax sales that we currently have, you've got to get going now. Because if you haven't been doing these strategies over the last 5 to 10 years when the tax rates have been low, you could be missing out on opportunities. So we want to make sure that we take action now, so we're not going to sit here and complain and make sure we're in a better spot. Simply don't be a victim of saying you hate taxes. Do something to reduce your tax burden over time by utilizing the tax planning strategies we talk about. Something we specialize in is analyzing our clients' tax return every single year. And we have over 50 tax saving strategies, which we talk about many of those within the book. But we want people to understand that there's things that you can do to improve your situation. You just have to know where you sit and what your current situation looks like. So go read our book, I Hate Taxes, and let me know what you think. And if you'd like us to send you a free copy, then simply reach out to us at our office, and we'd certainly be glad to provide that for you so that you can improve your financial situation.